Stephen King's Dark Tower series is one of my favorite reads. I always find myself coming back to it. It mixes Western, fantasy, science fiction, and horror in a way that only Stephen King can. The novels feel like a fever dream. The world of the series protagonist Roland Deschain is deeply old and seems to be heading towards its end. He's surrounded by the ruins of a people lost to memory, and in the words of those who lived during Roland's time, the world has moved on. The world of the Dark Tower feels simultaneously immense and claustrophobic, familiar yet strange, both thrown into chaos and yet guided by some kind of outside intervention. A couple of years ago, I started to try and capture the tone of this series in music, and it slowly developed into this release. I kind of imagine it as both a musical portrait of King's world and a soundtrack to the film version of the story that I always wanted to see. There are 5 short pieces. If you walk away from a listen feeling like you've just woken from an uncomfortable fever dream, then I've done my job. If you like the intersection of horror and fantasy, and you love a good film score, then I think you'll enjoy the music. And I highly recommend that you read the Dark Tower series. The title is from a quote lifted from the first book, and I feel it reads like a recipe to create the tone and events of the series. Roland is slipping into a mescaline dream in a desperate attempt to gain some insight from a dangerous entity, and recalls the phrase as a scrap of religious poetry from his past. It cycles in his head. Beyond the reach of human range, a drop of hell, a touch of strange.